I got to give credit to Gen X Strikes Back for bringing this to my attention. In this article by Cinema Blend, I believe James Cameron essentially checkmates his haters. You know, there are some people who would like to criticize him for comments that he's made. If you ask me, they were reasonable comments about superhero movies and even about Wonder Woman. I understand what he was trying to say about Wonder Woman. Uh, but that he's entitled to his opinion, and some people would like to call him sexist and whatnot, and other people would just simply like to criticize him because he touched the sacred cow, which is the MCU, and also I guess the other sacred cow would be female characters in general. So it doesn't matter how much good you do if you say one thing that people don't like, one negative thing about a female or a woman, that could be forever held against you. But what he does in Terminator Dark Fate is he brings back one of his I'll say his OGs. He brings her back, and a quote that he makes, a comment that he makes in this article here, in my opinion, is the checkmate on these haters. So Terminator Dark Fate, Sarah Connor is a bad grandma with a shotgun, according to James Cameron. I'm going to, I'll start here at the top. There are plenty of reasons to bring back a character as memorable and important as Sarah Connor is to the Terminator franchise, along with the typical reasons bringing original franchise fans back under the tent, as well as erasing the series of the franchise's more questionable follow-ups. There is one in particular that appealed to series creator James Cameron when he sat down to help craft what we've come to know recently as Terminator Dark Fate. I'm not getting off to a very good start here, but it's all right. For him, Sarah Connor not only represented the good old days of his franchise's vision, she's also a counterpart to some male actors who have been given a chance she has now to become what he calls a bad grandma with a shotgun. Cameron explained in the following remarks from a recent interview. Scroll down here. Sure, there are lots of female empowerment characters. You've got Captain Marvel and Wonder Woman and Black Widow. That's quite a list. How many of them are over 40? Not too many. Gets to be a very short list talking about action-empowered action females. There are all these dewy young things. How many of them are over 60? Big fat zero. And now you start looking back through history and how many female action hero prototypical characters that you know were Bruce. Wait a minute, I lost my place. That were over 60. Lots of guys, lots of midlife crisis guys. You know, Bruce Willis, Liam Neeson, Clint Eastwood. I'm about to say Chris Eastwood. Clint Eastwood. They're still packing guns into their 80s. How many ladies? Not too many. So I thought this is worth doing. This is a great thing to do. So I don't know if he had this comment planned out or not, or if this was just sort of just off the top of his head. But he basically just one-shotted all of his haters. Just one shot killed them all. So for those who would like to say that or hold his comments about superhero movies, about Wonder Woman, any of those things against him, well, right here he comes out and says he acknowledges that these characters are empowered. He seems to give them credit, right? He's not throwing shade at them. He's being as complimentary as you can be. And not only that, but he takes it a step further in that he brings back Sarah Connor here, who, you have a lot of feminists say, like Grace Randolph, they will complain that men are able to work well into their 60s and 70s and get these still these sort of action roles, or these roles where they're still seen as appealing or attractive or whatever. But the same doesn't really hold true for women. Well, James Cameron brings back Sarah Connor, and basically he says, "Okay, I'm going to do it." Right? If it hasn't been done before, it probably has, but if it hasn't been done as well before, I'm going to do it now, and I'm going to basically give you all of you this thing that you've been asking for. So after making this comment or this compliment, paying this compliment to Captain Marvel, to Wonder Woman, and bringing back this character in her what is she in her 60s to be in this role and giving her this prominent role. And not only that, but with this movie Terminator Dark Fate, he has three leading females in the movie. He has the young woman, and I don't really know who they are, but I don't know who they are, but he has these three young women in the well, two younger women and one older woman in this movie. That basically is like this the end of their whole narrative about him. They can continue to beat the drum about him being a sexist or whatever they want to, but he's basically countered all of that right now. And there's one other thing about, another thing about bringing Sarah Connor back is that it it reminds people that he was back in the 90s giving you characters that they now claim are groundbreaking. I'm going to go ahead and say it. People made a big fuss about Captain Marvel, about how confident she was and how strong she was and how men couldn't handle that. Well, doesn't it doesn't it sort of just click in your head when you see Sarah Connor that she's not new? You know, she's old. She's an older woman. She didn't just. This isn't her first appearance. She's been there before. At some point, you kind of have to look at that and recognize this narrative that you're spinning about certain characters now being groundbreaking is really nothing new. But I'm sure some people would like to try to bury that because they have to protect their narrative. But if you ask me, this is the checkmate on those haters. We can always point to this, and we can point to Terminator Dark Fate to show exactly where James Cameron stands, and that he is still, when it comes to female characters, he's still doing the stuff that they claim that they want. But when he does it and gives it to them, they don't acknowledge it, they don't accept it, or they complain. So Alita was a perfect example of that. Female lead character, empowered, played by a Latin woman, had a Latin director. The character was strong, beautiful, feminine, everything, and they didn't support her. But anyway, moving on to the second thing I'm going to talk about, and that is the other article. That's not what I want. The other article from Cinema Blend, which is mostly a rehash of stuff that we know already, but I thought it was worth bringing up because it sort of just reminds you of the passion that James Cameron had for the movie, and that the sequel is most likely coming. And not only is it coming, but it's probably already been planned out. And so that what that means is that the time that it would take to actually get to the sequel is actually not all that much, because a lot of the process has been done already. The writing process, I mean. So this is titled "Alita Ballinger Director Got Hundreds of Pages of Notes from James Cameron." They're talking about Robert Rodriguez, and that I'll just start reading here. James Cameron famously worked on bringing the Battle Angel Alita manga to life. I'll say manga series, whatever, to life on the big screen for the better part of 2 decades, with the can getting continually kicked down the road to development issues and Cameron's busy schedule. And also, it's not pointed out here, but Cameron was also concerned about the technology. If you look at, like, back then, where he decided to do Avatar first, the technology wasn't really quite where he wanted it to be for Alita. He really wanted this to be as good as it could possibly be. This is how much he cares. I wish I had the article I would show you right now, but he mentioned that technology just wasn't where he wanted it. And if you look at Avatar now, I haven't seen the movie yet, but just looking at some of the like scenes on online or even some of the photos, it if you ask me, it doesn't hold up. That CGI 10 years ago wouldn't have been enough to bring Alita to life. To blend the CGI and the live action together like it was in this movie, it wouldn't have been ready. So that's another reason this movie had to wait. Let's just go on here. When the Titanic director finally handed off his passion project to director Robert Rodriguez to hang out in the world of Pandora, he made sure that all the work he put on Alita Battle Angel was not for naught. Robert Rodriguez told Digital Spy that James Cameron generously promised not to send him the 1,000 pages of notes that he had done on Alita Battle Angel, instead stating that he would only send him a meager 600 pages. Robert Rodriguez naively took this figure as a jest, only to find out that James Cameron was quite serious when a tome of notes for Alita Battle Angel, 600 pages in width, arrived in the mail. It just goes to show how much James Cameron cares about Alita and the ridiculous amount of work he put in over the years to get it right and bring it to the big screen. He obviously put a lot of thought into adapting the property and likely learned a ton of valuable lessons along the way. Now, I don't believe I'll be reading this whole thing. What I will do is, no, you know what? I will skip down. There's something else I want to read here. All right, so here it is. Intriguingly, James Cameron's 600 pages of notes, code from 1,000, encompass a much larger vision than just one movie, as Robert Rodriguez explained. There's like a whole document about the trilogy because that's just part of his process. Here are 3 movies, just so you know what to include in the first movie and what not. So James Cameron's vision for Alita Battle Angel expands beyond just one film, and he already has it laid out on paper, like what to include in the first movie and what will be saved for later. At a time when big franchises don't always seem like they are operating with a firm plan or guiding vision in place, and you would point to the DCEU and Star Wars franchises as 2 examples of that. Even though Snyder did have a vision and have a plan, but WB were too busy trying to be Marvel. Really, this is quite exciting. Now, before I forget, let me just give a little credit to Cinema Blend here. So Cinema Blend has, I believe, 3 out of 4 articles that I've really paid attention to and have cited and have shown on my channel. 3 out of 4 of those have been positive. One was that I believe it was around the time Alita got around 350 million or 400 million. How it probably wasn't going to be enough or whatever for a sequel. That was a little negative, but for the most part, it seems like I could always count on Cinema Blend to bring some positive news about Alita, and for that, I don't mind giving them clicks. These other websites that want to put out negative stuff about Alita, I would rather just archive their sites or just show it to you and not send any traffic there. But with Cinema Blend, I feel like when they come out and be positive like this, we should probably give their site a little more traffic, because if they feel like positivity is going to give them the clicks that they need, then I have no problem giving them that. All right, now back to the other thing. So James Cameron had a complete vision for the trilogy already laid out. He already has come out and said anyway that the first movie is going to be called Alita Battle Angel, the second movie is going to be called Alita Fallen Angel, and the third one Alita Avenging Angel, right? So we know he had already put those titles out there, but now we know for certain that it wasn't just a matter of having names. He actually has the sequel planned out. And so what it really comes down to is, when it comes to the sequel, when he finally gives that okay, the green light, it's just going to be a matter of just hammering out exactly what's going to happen in the second movie, as in like just solidifying the script basically. But most of the work is already, the plan is there, right? So the work on the script that they really need, that could be done in like 4 weeks probably, right? Because the script for the first movie was done in 4 weeks, according to Robert Rodriguez. He did it in 4 weeks, and James Cameron said the same thing, that he came back in 4 weeks with the script. So my position has usually been that James Cameron likes to work. If this pattern is correct, he works on 2 movies at a time. I believe he's going to direct Avatar while letting other directors direct his other movies. So Tim Miller was doing Terminator Dark Fate. James Cameron was letting Robert Rodriguez work on Alita Battle Angel. But James Cameron was just going back and forth between movies and so on. But now he's on Avatar. He's going to be directing Avatar. And I believe once Terminator Dark Fate is in theaters on November 1st, then he'll have space open, the second movie to work on, and that'll be, in my opinion, what I'm guessing right now, will be the sequel to Alita. So I'm not expecting any immediate news about the sequel, but that doesn't worry me because I'm positive that it's coming. So I would expect it to begin somewhere later this year, November, December, maybe even January next year, but hopefully November or December this year, once Terminator Dark Fate is done, is in theaters, and James Cameron has a second movie to focus on now. So, and it shouldn't take long because, like I said, the work on the script is mostly, just that can be done in a few weeks. And the first Alita movie was made in it was made from principal photography, October 2016. The movie was ready to be shown in theaters July 2018. That's not even the complete 2 years. The movie was pushed back. They had to edit something, make some changes to the character, changes that probably won't have to happen again. They got it, they made the changes the first time. Now they can just roll with that design for the second time. So the movie was made in less than 2 years. And so the work for the script, they don't have to build any more sets. It's going to be cheaper, and the work on the scripts are mostly done. It's all planned out, laid out. So I'm expecting 2 years at the max would be all it takes to make the second film, but it can be done in less than 2. So hopefully early 2022 is the latest that we'll get the movie, or the movie be in the theaters. Hopefully, that's just what I'm hoping. That we don't have, we'll wait, but that's just what I'm hoping for. So I kind of went on and rambled a little bit in this video. So I hope you didn't mind too much. And that's pretty much all I have to say. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.